So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you had a good coffee break and are ready for what I would call a moment of comic relief. I just want to, before we get into that, I want to quickly get an idea. How many journalists are here in the hall at the moment? If you just put your arms up. And okay, so just a handful. Quick question to the journalists, and maybe it's interesting for the non-journalists to hear this. Do you ever get to work in the morning or in the afternoon if you're doing a late shift and look at the news and read in and think, I wish I could do comedy? Does that happen to you, Jafar? I mean, like yesterday, the scenes we were watching, the handshakes we were watching yesterday, the balcony scenes, the scenes of two powerful men looking at the beast, at a car. I said to myself, I wish I could do comedy. Unfortunately, I can't do comedy. Really, you don't want me to. I'd love to tell you a joke, but Veritas has forbidden me from trying out comedy because I'm just not very good at it. But I have someone, a fellow journalist, with me who does do comedy. He's pretty much the funniest man in the Arab world, Ahmed Al-Basheer from the Al-Basheer show. He's right over there, and he's going to talk to you for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and talk to him.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, it's clear. My name is Ahmed. Any more questions? That's it? Okay. Thank you. Doing a comedy show in Middle East, it's not that easy as you think. It's like taking chemicals to get rid of cancer. It's dangerous, but it's necessary. It's something that you can risk your life for, something you could die because you did that. In Middle East, if you do comedy and make fun of politicians and maybe clerics, this could end to a very bad, let's say, fate. So, in Middle East, we have few things that we shouldn't touch. Clerics, let's say, we don't say religion, we say clerics. Politicians, because they do everything that is right and things that we never understand because we are the lower side of the people, and they are the higher, and they have the knowledge to know everything that we don't. So when we try to understand that in a funny way, this could kill us eventually, or throw us in jail. I should do some jokes here, but actually I didn't prepare anything except the German language, which I still don't understand very much. It's like someone who's snoozing, or I don't know. But let's say, I will speak about, let me today speak seriously without any jokes. To deliver your message to the people, you need the way to do it. In Middle East, there's more than, let's say, 1,000 or maybe 15,000 way to deliver the message or to tell the news. But to do a strange way to deliver the news to the people, this is what we search for. We try to deliver our votes, our let's say, okay, my English, I have fails in English, so you have to excuse me. Let's say, Chris, can you help me, please? You don't? Okay. My voice needs to be delivered to the people, to the politicians, to make it right, should make it right. But in the Middle East, we can't do that because they control the all media, they control the all TV stations, they control everything. They control social media now. They control Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram. They have armies on Instagram. So if you need that, you have to be a very محايد. أحد يساعدني. محايد شنو؟ ها? Neutral. Okay. Can you speak, please? No. Yeah. So to keep this neutral thing going, there's too much dangerous things. Okay, I was in Spain, and Spain C is the F. So it's Barcelona, it's not Barcelona. And so I have this thing that fell, so excuse me. So let's say I started the show in 2014. I was a journalist, worked for Iraqi TV stations, Arabic TV stations, trying to deliver the message like any journalist, trying to make things right. I have a dream that this is wrong situations here. We have to make it right. We have to fix this. We have to fix that. We have to do the right things for our country and for our people. I worked since 2007 in journalism, and I was a journalist in Anbar. It's one of the most dangerous places in Iraq. There was Al-Qaeda. There was the American army. There was fights, battles every day, clashes between insurgents and American troops and Iraqi army. It's like waking up every day to find 5 or 6 people got killed because this explosion happened there. This clashes killed one of your friends. So it's like a very normal day to see your friends got killed in Anbar. In 2011, I was injured. I was working as a journalist. I was injured while I was covering a story about a celebration of the birth of Muhammad, the messenger Muhammad, the prophet, sorry. I was injured by a suicide bomber, and then I decided to leave Iraq and try to find another way to deliver my message, which I believe that it's very important to change the situations and to fix the things in my country. In 2012, I figured out that maybe if you make fun of the news, it's the same news, you just turn it into a joke, or maybe tell it in, let's say, in our accent, Iraqi accent, without putting the formal things on it, it will be much better, much easier to deliver to the audience. And we started that. In 2014, I started a show called Al-Basheer Show. Obviously, it's my name, Ahmed Al-Basheer, and it's Al-Basheer Show, so it's like, it's not creative at all. So then we worked for Deutsche Welle for 3 years. They're not paying good money, but it's good. Since we are together and they're here, both of my bosses, so it's good, yeah. But we will talk about that later. Now my show is #1 in Iraq. It's the only satire show in Iraq that could criticize every politician and every cleric that is part of the, let's say, political عملية سياسية, مو surgery طبعا. Process, yes. Thank you very much. Political process. And we have more than 500 or 600 million views on social media only. We have a lot of followers. It's, let's say, #1 in Iraq. And we're trying to change things. Actually, we failed. On the last elections, 2018, like 1 month ago, we tried to change the people's minds to let them think twice before they vote. They didn't vote, actually. They didn't go to polls. They thought that it's impossible to change the situation in Iraq, and the whole process is going between the politicians, between the electing law, between the parliament, between, let's say, the government. So no one votes for anyone. So the same old politicians arrived again. So I consider it that my message has failed in this phase. But do I have to stop? No, I think I have to accomplish my mission, which is going to end next week. Because I don't think there's a hope in Iraq, actually. But let's say that with some youth are available, some guys that giving me hope. Like, for example, Omar here is from Mosul, and he was one, from my point of view, one of the heroes in Iraq. He stayed in Mosul under the control of ISIS, and he was telling the news from inside Mosul. So for me, he's one of my heroes, actually. And the other youth that in Iraq that encouraged me to continue my mission. And I think we have to continue our mission, is to make things right. Maybe one day we reach the point of, or the level that we have this kind of conference in Ramadi, let's say. It's a dream. If you think of it, it's very hard to accomplish, especially about everything is going bad in my country. For example, I was in a taxi now, and he said that I never imagined that there is a police in Iraq, because I told him, how did you know that there's a police in Iraq? He said that there's this guy who killed a girl here and he left to Iraq, and then the police in Iraq catched him and they sent him back to Germany a few days ago, I guess. So this is the thing, that people don't know what's going on in Iraq. They think it's like a devastated country, it's a complete destroyed country. It is actually, in a way, but we're trying to fix things. So with your money, and we will do that. Thank you.
Ahmad, if it's okay, I'm going to open it up to the because I'm sure people have questions that they want to ask of you. If you don't, I do. But is there anybody who has a question for Ahmad? At the moment, not yet. In that case, let's get closer to the audience. There's someone over there. Sorry, sir. You're up in the darker regions of the hall. It's always difficult to see the people at the back. Just give us your name and where you're from and your question, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahmoud Lauto from Sudan. I am a journalist in a newspaper. Thank you for my colleague about this story he mentioned to us. But I want to ask him what questions. What is your, how you evaluate or how you speak about your work or experience with Deutsche Welle? Is it a new changing for you as a journalist? Thank you very much.
It is a new?
The question was to talk about your work experience with DW, right?
Yes, yes. After he go to Deutsche Welle, is it he feel changing in his warehouse to use or to be a media man really before he joined to Deutsche Welle? I think you understand my question.
اسأل عربي وأنا راح أفهمك.
I want to speak English as you speak.
My English is bad, so you can speak Arabic.
Okay, very simply.
Okay.
You feel changing when you join the Deutsche Welle as a journalist. That's all.
Okay.
هل شعرت بتغيير كبير عندما انضممت إلى Deutsche Welle? This is in Arabic, okay?
شكرا لك. Okay. Deutsche Welle is the only media that gave us the right to speak. In Iraq, we were banned. We can't broadcast our show in any TV stations in Iraq. Deutsche Welle was the only media that let us speak freely and without interfering with our content. They never ever did interfere with any word in the show. This is very important for me. This is very important for my crew, because I think freedom of speech can make things right. This is why I really appreciate what they've done to us, and I thank them every day for this freedom of this space that they gave us. It's been a large step to do. When we do a show on Iraqi TV, there's agendas for these stations, and we were banned from 3 TV stations in Iraq before. Because we made fun of their politicians that they pay them money. So here, this is the good thing, that the freedom is great, actually. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that question. I'm going to take advantage of my position right next to you and ask you a question of my own. I'm fascinated. As I said earlier, sometimes I get to work and I think I wish I could do comedy. So when did you make that transition from journalism, from classic journalism, coming into the work, into work and reading up and getting ready for news bulletins and so on, to comedy? What was the kind of the catalyst that pushed you to do news in a completely different way?
Okay, most of Iraqis are like speaking jokes every day for the like say they make fun of their situations trying to get over it. We made fun of sectarianism war in 2007, and then we could get over the war after that. We made fun of even in 90s when we were Al-Hisar, help me. Sanction, yeah. Sanction on 19s. We made fun of the sanction so we could get over it.
What sort of jokes were you making about sanctions?
No, I didn't. The Iraqis. I was young. I was a child then. But in Iraq, so it's very bad situation on the ground. There's no electricity. There's no water. There is. You can find mosques explode for no reason because they hide explosions inside of the mosques. You will find two very enemies in the political Muqtada wa Hadi al-Amiri, like Kim and Trump.
This was the meeting we should have been looking at yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that meeting.
This meeting with Kim and Trump, we have Muqtada and Hadi. It's the same, actually, but in a different way. They both have power. They both have guns. They both have followers. And they were enemies, and yesterday they become friends and in one coalition in the parliament, and they will form the new government.
And were they showing each other's cars to one another?
When they?
Well, like Mr. Trump was showing the beast to Mr. Kim, and he was very interested, it would seem.
No, actually, they were friends, like very much friendly together. And this is why we're surprised. I'm still shocked, actually. It's like seeing Nicki Minaj and Cardi B shaking hands. Like, it's never going to happen, you know? So this is the same thing. I don't know. This is politics in Middle East, and I think to cross the bad things in Middle East, you have to make fun of them, because the Middle Eastern guy or the Middle Eastern man, he hates to be mocked off. Because this is very, let's say, we say shame to be mocked off in Middle East. So if you make fun of him, he will try to change the behavior that you made fun of him because of that behavior.
That's interesting. So just to summarize, it's kind of for people in the street, it's a coping mechanism. You know, the news is so bad, the best way I can deal with it is to make jokes about it.
Exactly.
And for
sometimes it's bad because there's no solution, but since there is no solution on the ground, this is the only way to cross, to count the days until you die.
And what I was also understanding is that as far as the people that you're making jokes about, for them, they don't want to have jokes made about them, so it kind of helps them change their behavior?
Exactly. This is why when we started the show, there was about, like every day, 10 to 15 politicians on TV, he say very silly or bad things. Today we have lack of these statements. They count their words very much, very precisely before they speak on TV. So this is a change for me. And the other thing that we could make people to think about the country, not the sects or the religion or the province that they relate to. Now they think about the whole country together, which is Iraq, which is a very good thing. And we try to make people think independently without related to any other country around Iraq, because this is a big issue in Iraq.
So in a sense, you've improved the quality of political language?
Improved.
Politicians are behaving more in what they say? Would that be right?
Yeah, and they're scared of being on my show, very much. And when okay, there's this minister a few months ago. He's one of the big ministers in Iraq. He made something on TV. I don't know him personally, and we never spoke.
But he knows you.
He knows me. He texted me like 1 a.m. in the morning, and he said that this is me, minister of. I want to speak to you urgently. I thought that there's something wrong about the country and I need to interfere. So what's going on?
So he was in Baghdad. Where were you?
I was in Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah, I was drunk.
You were drunk?
Yeah. So So he told me that he called me and he said that I need to speak to you urgently. I spoke to him. He said that I have a video on my channel on YouTube, which is there's someone, a soldier, he removed his pants and I was looking at his back. I wasn't looking at his ass. So please don't take that video and put it on your show.
So what did you do?
I took the video, of course.
Okay.
But not yet. بعد ما خليت الفيديو البرنامج بس موجود. هذا الفيديو مالتك عندي.
So this is an exclusive you're giving us here. You haven't published it yet.
No, not yet. I'm waiting. After the break, we will publish it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's not a sexual thing.
More questions from the audience. We'll come to you in just a second, sir, but ladies first. The lady, if we can get a microphone. Okay, yeah. Let's do ladies first, and then we'll come to you, and we'll come to you, okay?
Thank you very much. My name is Evelyn. I'm from Senegal. And my question is, what are you doing in your show to improve women's conditions?
Okay,
Thank you
so
very much.
we'll just collect a few questions.
Okay.
So the gentleman at the back very quickly, and then we'll come to the gentleman here in the front.
I'm Mijanur Rahman Khan from Bangladesh. I would like to know if you kindly compare the press freedom you have enjoyed under executed President Saddam Hussein and present regime.
So the change in press freedom
Yes,
since...
a comparison.
Okay, comparison.
How do you assess the development?
So pre-Saddam and post-Saddam, and yes. Gentleman here in the... over here.
Ahmed, thank you so much. In the beginning, you alluded to the fact that you need more budget for your show. Well, the big boss is here, Mr. Lemberg.
We'll talk about that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to convince him why he should give you more money.
We'll take it from yours.
Okay.
I agree.
There's some inside jokes going on here. Okay, so we have very important question. What are you doing for women's rights on your show? We have the question, pre-Saddam, post-Saddam, what has happened to press freedom in Iraq? And we have the sensitive issue here, which I'll just leave to you to summarize.
About the women, we're trying to give them the courage to do whatever they want to do, or they like to do. We always in the show encourages the women to go and let's say make the things that it's banned for them. Like for example, in some provinces in Iraq, it's banned to drive. In some provinces in Iraq, women are banned to go shopping alone. They should be with their, let's say, family. We're trying to do that. I have another small clips I do on my Facebook. We say na'tala, which means nonsense. In this clips, we focus on women. How, like for example, in the past elections, we tried to make women go and vote and choose who they think he's right, not following her husband or her father. Because you know, in Middle East and in these countries, women have to decide to choose who the man is choosing. So this is what we try to do, is to make them choose who they think is the right person. For example, this one, a lot of things actually, I can't remember now, but we're focusing like 20 or 30% of the show of what the things that we do on encouraging women to take part in Iraq.
Okay.
And
press freedom?
Actually, in Saddam regime, there was no freedom at all. You can't say that there's a freedom. If you criticize the system, you will be killed the next day without anything, or even a trial. So you can't compare freedom between that time, because dictatorship and freedom, they don't relate ever. But in some parts, now we have freedom. You can speak in a way, like, let's say, it's not 100% freedom of speech, because, for example, I can't present my show from inside Iraq. I will definitely got killed from the threats that we got, from the militias, from ISIS, from the security situation in Iraq that is very bad. But in Iraq now, people can criticize government, for example. They can criticize the prime minister, or maybe the parliament member, or maybe the head of parliament. But you can't criticize some clerics in Iraq. But still, there is a big difference between that regime and this regime. But of course, everything has negatives and positive things. Yeah. And about the money, yes, sir. We can speak out upstairs. You can sit. Thank you very much. There's no transparency.
Okay, Ahmed, I have one final question.
Yeah.
What was the name of your show again?
Al-Basheer Show.
The Al-Basheer Show, live at GMF, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.